guys, I took my driving test recently and I passed first time with 1 minor, and I was either very lucky or maybe I did something right. And so this is why I'm doing this video, to tell you things that I did and thought of and tips on how to pass your test first time, hopefully, maybe. I just thought this video would be good to do because I was looking at videos like this the night before I took my test, and I guess coming from someone who was a very, very, very nervous driver, started off the test by crying, but I managed to pass. I don't know, I just think it might help, hopefully. But let's get on with my tips. Tip number 1. Chew gum if you like chewing gum. The thing about gum, it can help your concentration and calm you down, and I am one of those people that gum seems to help. Be friendly. Remember, this examiner is a person. They're going to be wanting to treat like a person. Also, remember, they are in charge of whether you are out on the roads or not. And yes, it is about your driving ability, but you know, if you get a bad first impression on them, that might make them a little bit stricter on you, or they might be a little less liking you. And I'm not saying that definitely will affect your final result, but it might. When you're in the waiting room, make sure you've got your driver's license ready. Make sure you give them a smile, come up, just be friendly. Keep calm. Now this sounds so much easier said than done. I'm saying keep calm and I was not calm. You've got to remember, you are doing this test because you can drive. Your instructor would tell you to move the test to a later date if they didn't think that you weren't ready. And also, there are some natural supplements you can take. I took Calms. I'll leave the link down below. They're just like a natural herbal relief. Whether it worked or not, I do not know, but I took it in the couple of days leading up. But you've got to check that it doesn't make you drowsy, and there's also rescue remedies that people take. Just try and be calm. Practice. If you can practice between lessons, I really recommend it. I had my own car about 2 months before taking the test. I think it was one of the best decisions ever. It was quite hard at the beginning, getting used to, you know, my instructor's nice brand new car and then my little tiny small engine older car. But I think it was really good because once I learned, I already understood how to use my car, and you know, driving on your own is scary enough, but driving on your own in an also new car. But also on top of that, I really recommend learning in between lessons, because 1 lesson a week or even 2 lessons a week sometimes isn't as much as you need. And for me, I needed a lot of practice. The day before my test, I went out with my dad for 3 hours and just going all over the roads and trying different junctions and roundabouts and different crossings, and I really think it helped me. Obviously, I know this depends on the situation, but I really do recommend getting practice in between your lessons as well. Familiarize yourself with the roads and the location near your test area. So make sure that you do drive through loads of the different roads in the area and try the different junctions. There might be box junctions, different crossings. Go over them in your spare time or even in your lesson with your instructor. You know, sometimes when we come up to new roads and new junctions, we do panic. So if you've gone over those roads before, you're less likely to panic. You're more likely to be comfortable. It's kind of a win-win because either way you get practice driving and it might come up on your test. Mirrors. Mirrors to turn, mirrors to stop, mirrors to start, mirrors to speed up, mirrors to slow down, mirrors, mirrors, mirrors. Apparently sometimes in tests people can just forget about the mirrors because they're so focused on the driving and they're so nervous, but just look at your mirrors. This kind of links onto the next one, but exaggerate your looking. Remember, the examiner has 3 jobs. They have to be looking at you and looking at your eyes. They also have to look at the road and check that you're not doing anything that's unsafe. And thirdly, they have to be looking at their clipboard and maybe writing stuff down. They're not always gonna definitely see it if you've looked. If you're at a roundabout and you're seeing if it's safe to go and you're supposed to look twice, proper make sure you look. I remember when I was in lessons with my instructor and you know, she told me you didn't look then, and I thought I did look. But you know, how are they always going to see? At the end of the day, you want to make it clear to your examiner that you are safe and that you are looking. But obviously don't be unsafe, don't just linger there. You've got to do quick glances, but make it clear that you are looking. If you've done an emergency stop, exaggerate that looking. Because essentially you have stopped without looking at your mirrors and you don't know who's going to be around. In the case that if you did have an emergency stop in a real life situation, your examiner wants to check that you will look everywhere before you start off. Where is that puppy? I imagine that there's a puppy and I want to look everywhere and find that puppy. I've used that phrase from my instructor. She was good. She was good. Don't forget your blind spot. A lot of people have got minors or failures from not looking at their blind spot. That would be your right hand shoulder. And exaggerate it. Try not to hesitate. Basically, a lot of people fail in their test for hesitation. I thought I was going to fail in hesitation because I admit in lessons and stuff on roundabouts and junctions I would hesitate because I wanted to be safe. Actually, hesitating is more unsafe. Basically, if you're at a roundabout, wait at that roundabout until it's safe to go. Don't take a risk. Don't take a risk. Just be safe. You know, you don't want to be too safe because if you're waiting for too long and you wait until there's no cars and you're just waiting ages and holding up traffic, that is also a fault. Wait until there's a nice safe gap for you, and once you're out, you go. You know, once you're out, you have to make a nice steady progress. A good tip for roundabouts is, let's say you're in the roundabout and you're giving way to your right, you're looking, have a look a little bit towards your left, a little bit up, and see if there's any cars that are going to be coming straight ahead to cut them off. And if you see a car cut them off, then you know it's safe to go. Before you even stop at the roundabout, always start assessing. Speak to yourself. Now this sounds a little bit weird and you're probably like, why are you trying to make me speak to yourself? But trust me, it kind of helps. I had like a little nervous joke with my examiner. I was like, I'm probably going to speak to myself. Reasons for it is it just helps me. Under the test situations, your mind does kind of foggle up. And if you're speaking to yourself, it kind of almost makes you feel like you know what you're doing. And you do know what you're doing, but it's like confirming it. So for example, if he was like turn right at a roundabout, I would literally be like mirror, mirror, signal, slow down, position, further speed, second gear, assess, okay, stop. Like, I literally would. I just kept repeating things to myself. It was actually really good because not only did it confirm to me that I knew what I was doing, I think also it kind of confirmed to my examiner. You know, I'm not saying you're going to pass just because you speak stuff to yourself, but you know, if you're saying it to yourself, chances are you are going to do it because it's stepping it. You're just ticking the steps off. When I'm driving, I mean, obviously I've only been driving about a week and it's still quite scary for me. Even now I do find myself talking to myself. So don't be afraid to talk to yourself. Don't panic if you do a little thing wrong. It doesn't matter. Remember, you're allowed up to 15 minors and you can still pass. Also, one little thing doesn't always mean a fail. And sometimes if you think you fail, it kind of works in your favour. So for example, on the independent driving, which is, you know, where you've got to follow the signs, I actually went the wrong way and I took us on a little detour and I went into this little box junction, turned right, and as I said it, I was like, I know I've just done this wrong. And he was like, you have just done it wrong, but you did well there because you didn't get out of the box junction and that would have been a hazard and you didn't panic, and at the end of the day, I didn't get a minor or anything for that because I was safe. But I thought I failed, so I calmed down and I relaxed, and I guess I did okay for the rest of the test. Remember, you don't have to do perfect manoeuvres. You are allowed up to 3 times to correct them, and I think they give you like 7 minutes, so you can take your time. Still today can't do bay parking perfectly, but I know how to fix it. I know how to straighten myself up and go back, and that's all that matters. They don't expect you to be perfect, they expect you to be safe. Get a good night's sleep. Driving when you're tired is never wise, and also have a good breakfast. You need energy to drive. Apparently bananas are really good because they're relaxing. I don't like bananas, but apparently having a banana before your test is really good for your nerves and just your energy. Well, my instructor didn't recommend me to have coffee or tea because it can make you jittery and nervous. Just try to have nice whole foods. I think I had porridge for breakfast. The examiners are on your side. Sometimes they can give you tips, so listen out. If they keep repeating, go right, make sure you go right at this roundabout, make sure you go right, and you're thinking, why do they keep repeating, make sure I go right? You're probably not in the right lane, and that was probably a hint for them to tell you, go into the right lane. Another hint they can give you, which they actually did to one of my friends, was they make you pull up on the curb quite a lot. He was pulling up and she said, are you happy with that? And that was her kind of saying, you're not close enough to the curb. Someone didn't straighten up correctly on a bay park, and an examiner said, are you finished? And that was her kind of, are you sure you're finished? So do listen to the examiners. At the end of the day, they are on your side and they do want you to pass, and they know that under pressure we can make silly little mistakes. So, you know, listen, they might do little hints. For example, for me, he said turn left and I indicated right, and he said turn left again, and I was like, why is he saying that? And I realised I indicated wrong. That was what my minor was. Book your test at a time that you feel comfortable with driving. Remember when rush hour is, and remember at lunchtime, people sometimes might be on their lunch break. I took mine at 10:15 a.m. and I thought that was quite a nice time. I found that the roads were quite quiet. Some people really like taking theirs early because they like getting the traffic or at the end of the test, because they feel like the more you're stuck in traffic, the less driving. But at the end of the day, you can't really cheat your way to passing a test. If you can drive, you can drive, but you know, you can make it easier for yourself. Lastly, if you fail, you can retake it again. But also remember, if you do pass, this doesn't mean like you're an amazing driver all of a sudden. It doesn't mean you know everything. You've essentially on probation for 2 years. It doesn't mean you're a perfect driver, but it means your examiner thinks you are safe and reliable and they trust you on your own. Do always be careful and be wary, and don't start like racing people because you think, I passed first time. Confidence is good, but not too much confidence. You need a good balance, because if you're too nervous, you kind of don't drive as well as you can, but if you're too confident, you don't drive as well as you can. So I'm not saying I know everything, and I'm no way saying I'm a perfect driver, because even now, you know, driving does still make me quite nervous, but coming from someone who was so scared, I really hope this can relax you and help you out. I believe in you. Be safe, get on those roads, and let me know your experiences, your tips and tricks, and I shall see you soon.